Adrienne Lynch with the Local Badass Business Podcast, and I have Emily Evans with Emily Evans Consulting on with me today. Welcome.
Yeah, Adrienne, so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself, I am a local business owner working with specifically small locally owned companies, but I started it because of a motorcycle accident my husband and I were in. Ended up finding out the hard way what's covered or not covered by our benefits through work. And so I just try to help other people avoid that same situation.
I think that's great. I think most of the time people don't realize what's covered or not covered till an actual accident happens, and those items you didn't think about end up popping up. So I was doing a little bit of research about you, and I saw in there that you like to help businesses build a culture that is just kind of unique to them and also can attract employees. So tell us a little more about that process.
Yeah, so what I do is I sit down with the business owner and I say, okay, yes, you need to have some sort of benefits in place. Tell me a little bit about the culture you're trying to build, and let's figure out a way to enhance that. So I call it taking your benefits from a packet to an experience, because it's not just hey, here's the packet, figure out what you want. It's let's have a conversation, figure out what's going to work best.
I think that's great, especially with a lot of small businesses right now, because I feel like they aren't sure if they can even offer benefits. And if they can't, they feel like it's minimal. So getting a little creative on the options that you guys can help them with really does make a difference for them standing out in this industry. So tell me a little about what are some of the mistakes you see small businesses doing that they don't even realize is happening?
A really obvious one to me is they are not utilizing their own network. So a lot of small businesses think benefits are way too expensive, but they know a lot of other business owners, and those connections are things that their employees could actually take advantage of. For example, I know a lot of realtors, case in point, but using those resources to say, okay, maybe I can help my employees figure out how to buy a house or get their credit repaired, because we all know those kinds of networking partners that you just don't think about using them as benefits for your employees. So that's a huge one for a lot of people. Another one is thinking that benefits have to be expensive. There's so many new different options out there that people can take advantage of that allows employees access to care, but doesn't have to be full-blown medical insurance. So there's creative ways to make sure that people can get the care they need.
I think that's great. And I think it is, they just don't know. They're so busy launching a new business and overwhelmed that, and then they add in the employees. So it starts to kind of add up with the items. So what are some things, like simple things, that when you come in to meet with them are kind of the process that you do to kind of open their eyes to all of their different options?
So the main thing that we do that's very different than most other brokers, we go through a education process and talking through how we lay our foundation. Most brokers come in and they say, okay, Adrienne, you need to offer benefits. Tell me what your budget is and what you want. And then they come back and they give you like this 37-page report of, here's all your options, pick one. I find that very overwhelming, and I'm sure most business owners do as well. They're like, right. I am so busy running my business. Don't give me more things to figure out.
Right.
Just, here's my budget. Let's figure out a blueprint that works for you and build it on the right foundation so the cost isn't changing every year, and let's make it work. So let's people build things the way they like to build them.
I think that's great. And now you talk about working with the number of employees. Do you have a certain industries, or is it really based on just small businesses and employee count?
Yeah, it's primarily based on employee count and finding the right fit of business owner. Most of the clients that I have are typically the kind that are so busy working in and on their business, they just want to find that professional that's going to come in, give them the best advice, figure out what's going to fit in their budget, and help them implement without having to do a whole lot of legwork. So that's one of the things that I just love doing, is finding all the pieces of the puzzle. So that's what I would say there.
Same. My favorite kind of consulting. You just handle it and tell me what I need to do, and then we'll just move on with business.
Right.
Yeah, that's delegating is key. Tell us a little bit so that people kind of know you. I know that I love following you online and all of your motorcycle excursions and your dogs and all of that. Tell us what are things about you that you like, what's your hobbies, and are there any organizations you like to support? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have 3 dogs, my husband and I, and yes, we do still ride motorcycles even after our accident. That was in 2010, so we're going on 10 years now. And we love adventure riding, so we'll go camping with our motorcycles. We love off-roading. My kind of sideline passion is photography, so I love that. And you might hear my dogs clicking their nails here in the office. But those are my main things. I am hugely growth minded. So I really focus on not just growing myself and my team professionally or personally, but I also try to extend that out to my clients as well. So
I think that's great. Do you have a favorite kind of growth book or program or a podcast you like to listen to?
So podcast that I like to listen to is Alex Sharfen. It's Charfen. That's a big one for me. We don't agree on everything, but I think that's part of being growth-minded and open-minded is being able to listen to opposing viewpoints. Yeah. But a book for me that I loved this year was Who Moved My Cheese?
Oh, that's a great book.
Yeah, so it's all about change and how do you handle that change. So if you haven't read it, highly recommend that. What was the other one? Oh, Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits was phenomenal.
Yeah, I have not gotten to Atomic Habits, but I heard that that was a great book. So I have to add it to my list this year because
definitely.
I get a little crazy on my Audible and start downloading a bunch of books, and then I got to catch up with all of them.
And then all of a sudden you have 15 credits because you've just listened to all the books in a row that you hadn't listened to yet.
Yeah. All the time, like, wait, I got to listen to this. I need to hear this. It's and the book I'm listening to right now is Essentialism, which is a great book. But it is a great example of how I have not narrowed down things in life if you looked at my Audible and my regular hardback books and all of that stuff. So
yeah, definitely. I'm right there with you. You're not alone.
So is there anything else that you would like to tell a business owner that's watching that may kind of maybe they're feeling overwhelmed, or any advice that you'd like to give them and how to reach out and how they contact you?
Definitely. So I would say if you're a business owner and you want to do something for your employees because you see that relationship between you and your employees as integral to your business, you just don't know where to start with a conversation. It's not like we do any arm twisting. We don't send 2 guys to your door or anything like that. There's no mafia hits here. But just have the conversation, figure out who works well with you, because different personalities will be able to fit differently within the industry. There's lots of different people out there to help. It may not be me, and that's okay. But figure out someone who you can work with, who will have that conversation and be able to help you move that forward, even if it's just something small to start with. And then to get in touch, you can visit my website, www.emilyevans.biz, and that's EMILY. I should just go like this. EmilyEvans.biz, or at Emily Evans Consulting on Facebook and Instagram. People can find me on LinkedIn. I don't do a lot on there, but Facebook and Instagram, I definitely do a whole lot more.
Perfect. Well, we'll post it out too in our description so they can easily reach you. And I appreciate you being on our show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me again.